Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here. Just a quick video today to update you on some news that we learned over the past weekend at the Destination Star Trek convention in Birmingham. First of all, the internet was abuzz early in the weekend with glimpses of the new Admiral's uniform from Star Trek Picard. This would seem to be the uniform that Picard was in at his retirement some years before the start of the new television series. Thanks to TrekCore.com, we have a number of images of the uniform as was on display at DST in Birmingham. As you can see, it borrows a lot from the style of uniform that we see in the late 24th century in TNG, DS9, and Voyager, including a comm badge style very much similar to what we see in DS9, Voyager, and the TNG films. From the pictures, it looks as though Picard was a 4-star admiral in Starfleet at the time of his retirement. And I don't know about you, but I feel like there's a number of cosplayers out there who are going to try their hands at recreating this uniform. Interestingly enough, the uniform can also be seen on the cover of the 3rd issue of the Star Trek Picard Countdown series coming from IDW later this year. This cover was created by artist Sarah Petra Durocher, and it features Admiral Picard, presumably prior to his retirement, wearing that uniform with the symbol of the Romulan Empire above him. Still waiting on some good looks at the actual current Starfleet uniform of the Star Trek Picard era. We get a few fleeting glimpses of it in the various trailers for Picard, but no real clear look at that yet, although we do have an idea of the design of the comm badge thanks to this shot of one of the actors in Star Trek Picard seemingly sporting it on a baseball cap. Also revealed at Destination Star Trek are a number of new books coming in the Star Trek publishing world. First up is The Art of Star Trek Discovery by Paula Block and Terry Erdman, two great authors who have written some great fiction books as well as excellent reference books over the years. The Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion, I still think, is the gold standard for behind-the-scenes reference books. So if this one even approaches the quality of that work, we're in for a treat here. Here's a brief description. The Art of Star Trek Discovery, written by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman, explores behind the scenes of the hit show with cast and crew interviews, set photography, concept art, and storyboards. With exclusive content from the first 2 seasons, this book is a must-have for every Star Trek fan. Now, the cover shown here reportedly is not the final cover for the book. Hopefully that'll be revealed sometime in the near future. Another book coming that I'm really excited about is the autobiography of Kathryn Janeway, the history of the captain who went further than any had before. This is ostensibly, of course, written by Kathryn Janeway herself, but it's edited by Una McCormick, who's one of my all-time favorite Star Trek novel writers. Her works about Cardassia and Garak especially are really excellent, so I'm really excited to see what she's done with this autobiography. Of course, regular readers might know the novel Mosaic, which is kind of the backstory for Kathryn Janeway. This book, however, would be Janeway's whole life story after bringing Voyager home and becoming an admiral in Nemesis. So I've really enjoyed these autobiographies so far. We've gotten the autobiography of James T. Kirk and Jean-Luc Picard. The autobiography of Mr. Spock was supposed to be released last year and then this year and has now been pushed into next year. So not sure when we're getting that. Those 3 were all by David A. Goodman. This is the first one not by that author. Instead, Una McCormick's writing this one. So yeah, definitely interested to see what they've got for this entry in that autobiography series. And interestingly, it's set to come out in July of 2020, so actually beating the autobiography of Mr. Spock to shelves. So not sure why the Spock one has been pushed back so far. Probably because of wanting to include material from Star Trek Discovery in there, but it's definitely been long delayed. Looking forward to seeing that one as well. Here's the back cover blurb for the Janeway autobiography. In the autobiography of Kathryn Janeway, edited by Una McCormick, we get to hear the story of one of Starfleet's greatest captains in her own words. We'll hear her side of the story about how she and her crew traveled farther than any human ever had before, stranded decades from home while encountering new worlds and species. Explore how she brought together Starfleet and the Maquis as part of her crew, forged new alliances with species across the galaxy, and overcame one of Starfleet's greatest threats, the Borg on their own remote and hostile territory. And we'll get Janeway's personal take on key characters such as Seven of Nine, her trusted friend Tuvok, new arrivals like Neelix, and her second-in-command, Chakotay. And then finally, in September of 2020, we have a book called The Artistry of Dan Curry, VFX Weapons and Wonders from TNG to Voyager. Dan Curry was an illustrator with Star Trek through those series, and I'm really excited to see this book. His artwork has long been a staple of some of the most really cool views of Star Trek. People might be familiar with that really interesting kind of cutaway anatomy of a Klingon that he did. He's made many contributions to the look of the Star Trek universe for many years, so definitely excited to see this one. Here's the back cover blurb. In 50 years of Trek history, 7-time Emmy Award winner Curry is one of the franchise's most enduring talents. His contributions have ranged from directing, title design, and concept art to practical on-set effects and weapon design. From The Next Generation to Enterprise, Curry's incredibly diverse Star Trek work has resulted in some of the series' most memorable moments. The book reveals the many and varied techniques used to produce some of the most spectacular visual effects used in the various series, while Curry also goes in depth to divulge the secrets of some of his own personal favorite creations. The book includes photos and illustrations from Dan's personal collection, along with contributions from various Star Trek cast members, including Michael Dorn and Scott Bakula. Definitely looking forward to this one. I love behind-the-scenes art books, so hopefully we'll be getting my hands on this one around probably this time next year. Like I said, just a quick video updating you on some of the news coming from Destination Star Trek this past weekend. Please leave any comments you have about these stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks to the Patreon supporters for helping me bring these videos to you. I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone else for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, even just watching. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, live long and prosper.